Yeah, I never film much of this because there's not that much to look at. It's I just have to. I get a little copy of my logo and I tape it to a little piece of maple, and then I try to cut the details of the letters. And then we'll cut the whole thing out. This is not a fun job. I don't super enjoy this. However, if I don't do it, it don't get done. So I wish I was better at this. My eyes aren't what they used to be. Maybe not quite the worst I've ever done. But there's a whole lot of cleanup needs to happen there. I don't know why my filler never comes out like it's supposed to. Guess that's what we get. Mud. I think we did a decent job. Now we got some really goopy filler this time, so we're gonna have to let it sit and dry. So close. Yeah, that'll do. So my next big hurdle, and I think it's partly complicated by the fact that I made our head plate so thin, but I want it thin. Alright, here's the problem. Well, this isn't necessarily a problem, but figuring out where to place the logo is usually just based, largely on how I think it looks, and making sure we're not interfering with any of the tuner washers or tuners in general. Alright, well, this time we have the added complication of somewhere under there is the truss access. So I can't help but think, scooting it back a little, and I think we're going to cut, I don't know, a rounded rectangular piece, so the logo will essentially, and a part of the head plate around it will essentially be the truss cover. We could sink a magnet into the back of the logo somewhere, but I don't know. I think what I'm going to do, slide this back just a little, maybe not. I'm going to decide where I want this. Draw it on here. Try to come up with a plan around it that doesn't make us sick. And then see about maybe cutting that out. Now, as thin as this is, when we go to sink the inlay, it's going to go all the way through. No doubt. I was kind of thinking it'd be cool if whatever piece we take out, if that is surrounded by veneer. we could do wenge veneer on the little bit that's ash, and maple veneer on all the rest of it. I looked into finding the stupid pipe whose internal or inside radius just happens to be right for yeah. So I'm thinking oval type. Well, it's not really an oval, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So, I guess first step is getting the inlay sunk, and then figure out how we're going to cut the whole thing out. And then figure out how we're going to get it down to where we can put veneer around it and it'll still fit, and fit well, and then figure out how the hell we're going to stick it in there. Because, let's see. How can we piece together where the hell that's going to fall? Right there. So, to there. Alright, well. So conceivably, somewhere around the D and the A, we could maybe put a magnet. Since we're going all the way through, I'm thinking we might as well just drill us a little hole and use the jeweler saw, and maybe we can be a little cleaner that way, because we we need it to fit really well. So okay, looks like everything worked out pretty well. We put epoxy on the back. You don't realize how many gaps are in your inlay junk until you go all the way through. I had mixed up some wenge dust and epoxy to fill in the back. I scraped that clean this morning a little bit, so it should be good to go. I think what we're going to do is right at the border between ash and wenge, on the wenge side, we're going to drill our hole, because it's going to be a little bigger than anything we do, and then we're going to cut this oval shape out. The plan is I'm going to try to get it worked down so that it's a little bit, I want to try to border it with some veneer. Maple on the wenge part and wenge on the ash part. It's the plan. I don't know how I'm going to pull this off. I don't know if it's going to work. That's what we're going to try to do. Obviously, it's going to take some time. I need to figure out how to get my veneer bent. I originally thought, you can slowly bend it on with the moisture from the glue. However, doing it that way, we don't have the opportunity to fit it. So that's not going to work. I think we've got it down where there's enough gap. There should be enough gap for the veneer. So I'm thinking at this point it should be pretty close. Maybe we can work on finding a way to get the veneers onto the piece, and then whatever fitting needs to happen we'll take out of the hole. So I took my little veneer strips and I wrapped them in a wet paper towel and microwaved them for a bit, and it seems to have worked, at least to get the bend. Let's see if it stays. Well, hell, not exactly, but maybe enough to do the tricky part. Such a pain in the ass. I just, powered through and got shit done. And I just put the little wenge part on. This end piece doesn't seem to want to dry, so I'm giving it some time. And I forgot we got that little screw up. I went around most of it and trimmed the veneer down to level or close to it, just to see. And I think it's going to look good, and I think it's also going to fit well. So I think we're good. I do have a little 220 sanding block. I'm clean that up a little, but what a little pain in the ass. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work out and be just fine. Which is fairly amazing. I didn't... I got this picture in my head and I'm thinking, I don't know how hard that's going to be. But, kind of looking like it might work out. Okay, I guess while we wait for this and give it some time to really cure, we start worrying about the neck pocket. Thanks for joining me. If you like what we're doing, if you're digging it, like and subscribe. Catch you next time.